Here's the reality of it also. Labor is the #1 expense on a P&L. So that guy that you're paying 17, 18, 19 an hour, he's going to cost you way more. The last thing I want to do is send him to Home Depot to go get sprinkler heads. If you and your worker is there, you guys are there for 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes for you and 30 minutes for your helper. That's one total budgeted hour of labor. That's the data that we need in order to build these systems in and go off of budgeted hours. All right. So today we have Angel down in Greenville, South Carolina. Angel, thanks for jumping on with me.
Absolutely.
So I guess give me a little bit of kind of background of kind of where you're at in business, maybe how many trucks, what revenue you're doing, and then like where you want to take the business. That gives me kind of a good framework to hopefully help kind of coach and answer any questions. So where are you at today and where do you want to go?
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate that. So yeah, about 5 years ago, my mom and I started this business from the ground up. Nothing, had equipment hanging out of the window of my 2009 Nissan Sentra, pushed them on the trunk, did all that. She had 15 years of experience from Florida, where we're originally from. And she helped out the first 2 years, bought her out 3 years later. Last year we did 106K, 20% growth from the year before. So we're just one truck. It's me in the truck with another full-time guy. Last year we had about 3 or 4 laborers just for the bigger landscape jobs. So right now we're trying to grow our maintenance route for residential and commercial. And then eventually I want to get to a point where I have one crew dedicated to mowing, one crew dedicated to like all the landscapes enhancements, and then maybe me have like kind of a smaller route. But I'm not opposed to just having like all maintenance trucks, just still trying to figure out where I want to go, because I got a guy now, full-time guy. I don't know if he's gonna work out. I hired him, but that's kind of where we're at, just still learning and growing. So
Yeah, that's awesome. So like when you look at your life 5, maybe 10 years from now, like where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be?
wow, that's a great question. Yeah, I want to see yeah, just more freedom in the business. It's real stressful right now, wearing a lot of hats. Just have dedicated guys out there working, not having to worry about that. Just like I'm still a bottleneck in the business.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So why do you think you're the bottleneck in the business? What are the key things that you need maybe help with? Like what do you think? Why do you say you're the bottleneck?
Yeah, for me, it's like I think that I've grown it from the ground up. It's been like my baby, working at another job, going out there mowing in the evenings, the weekends, working 14 days straight. Sometimes it's hard for me, like, okay, good enough, or do I have to like have such high standards that it's like an unworkable place. But I feel like if we have standards, we can hire more quality guys and just expect, good work. We have a great workplace, purpose-driven workplace. So maybe that's just me, like releasing that control, I guess, to see it grow, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Not so much like an unhealthy control, but I'm just scared that like it would just get out of control, like chaos, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, there is actually, you know what? Watch this. I'm going to share this with you because hopefully I'm literally going through this with our GMs right now. Let me see if I can find the photo. And then you can hear me okay, right? Like it's not like
Yeah,
super.
absolutely. Yeah, it's clear.
So let's do this. Airdrop this from my phone. Oh, snap. You know what? I guess I got to get on the Wi-Fi. I'm hardwired over here for the best connection. Let me pull this up here. Okay. I'm going to share my screen with you, and this might hopefully help the mindset that you have of like relinquishing control.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is not my slide. Did you go to Blue Collar Summit with Mike Andes a couple months back?
No, I didn't. Very familiar with my candies.
Okay, so one of the speakers there had this slide up, and I thought this was very powerful. As a business owner, a lot of times we get sucked up in the running errands, day-to-day tasks, mowing the lawns, because the reality is you and I care. We care about our business a lot, and we want to make sure it
Right.
succeeds and excels. But the problem is, I would challenge you and ask, what is your time worth? And in the beginning, the value we have on our time is lower. That's normal. But as we grow and scale, we have to delegate and start to give up some of these tasks. Anywhere from 0 to probably 250,000 in revenue. These $18, $20 an hour tasks, I think are okay. Like you can do them. As we start to grow and scale above 200, 250, we can't keep continuing to do these, I'm going to call them lower level tasks, but one of the things you can add on this is mowing. Like mowing, weeding, edging, and blowing is something you pay somebody $20 an hour to mow, weedy, edge, and blow a lawn. Like it's not, we're not building rockets. It's not something crazy, you know? I would say, like, as you start to grow, we do have to give up some of those tasks. Now, the way that you do that is by creating some kind of process. And here's the process that it looks like in our company. I do, you watch. So let's just take sharpening blades, for example. Hey, I'm going to sharpen 2 or 3 blades. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you what right looks like. And then they're going to step in, and then you're going to literally be watching over their shoulder and be like, all right, now you're going to sharpen the next 3. And then like maybe you get after 1, you're like, okay, stop. I need to train you on this thing. You're not holding it at the right angle. You're pulling it out too quick. Like, okay, I'm going to coach you up. All right, now you're going to do another 2 or 3. So, and then it's like they do, I watch and coach. Right.
Right.
And then after that, once you feel good, you're like, okay, they've done 5 or 10 of these. They've gotten a couple reps. You let them sharpen the blades by themselves without watching, but you go back and you look and you inspect the blades. You say, okay, does it have the right angle? Is it sharp enough? Same thing you would do, or whether it's mowing a lawn, whatever. And then once that's good, then kind of phase 4 is like they train and delegate so you don't have to, right? But that's how you get things off your plate. Also, you want to do it incrementally. You don't want to just one day be like, all right, I'm getting rid of all these tasks. Just take one at a time. I see too many business owners that are like overwhelmed with this. And it's like, look, just take one task and get it off of your plate. If, let's say, sharpening the blades takes you 30 minutes to an hour a week, I mean, if you're like you're not. So you're a lower company, or a smaller company. I meant by that. So like for you, sharpening the blades might only take you 10, 15 minutes, right?
Right.
But you now get that 10 or 15 minutes back in your day to maybe go do another estimate or do something in these other like $50 an hour tasks or $100 an hour tasks that like will have a higher leverage return for your time versus just sharpening the blades. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. What do you think about? So I just recently, just trying to grow a core team, was real stricter with standards, and we're offering more benefits this year. Got an employee handbook, and just really doubling down on our standards, our processes, our structures. So I hired a guy. He claims he has 10 plus years of experience. His references checked out. But when I'm trying to train him, or I have to pull him to the side and try to walk him back through something that he missed, or try to coach him up, then sometimes there's a little pushback as far as like, oh, I have 10 years of experience, so I know what I'm doing. But I'm like, you don't have 10 years of experience on this specific property. So what do you think about that employee that every now and then he has like a little pushback, or like safety? I had to tell him multiple times and say, hey, you either got to wear these safety glasses, or we're going to have to get you to sign a release of liability. Like, what would you do in that situation for an employee? Like, I mean, he's good, he's decent, but I have to go behind him, if that makes sense. I'm paying him 17 an hour. That's low to your area, but that's more than what I've paid guys in the past. So.
Do you have core values in your company?
Yes, we just got some this year.
Is one of the core values humility or being humble or coachable?
Yes.
All right. So it sounds like he doesn't have that humility, or he's not coachable.
Right.
Oh, I got 10 years of experience. I know everything. No, dude, even me, I don't know everything. I've been in business for 5 years. There's so much stuff I need to know. So I would just say, look, you might want to pull him aside one day, one-on-one, and just say, hey man, I noticed a couple times. I mean, I'm not going to necessarily say you're giving me attitude, but like, this is how I feel. Like when you express your feelings, it's a better approach. So sounds like a leadership thing. Be like, hey man, I feel like there's just a little bit of kind of tension, and maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just, but this is what I feel when I sometimes give you a direction or a task to do, and I feel some kickback, and it's not smooth and it's not easy. Like, so like, I just want to let you know that, and I would ask him too. I'm like, hey man, do you feel that same way? Because maybe he doesn't. Maybe he is not self-aware. But sometimes you got to dig and tiptoe around, and these are all the leadership kind of conversations that not many people talk about, unfortunately.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
You kind of want to feel them out, but then at the end of the day, it's like, look, man, I'm just, we're on the same team. I want to win with you. The more money you make, the more money I make. And like, here's the reality of at the end of the day, we have core values here. And one of our core values is being coachable or being humble. So that means when someone from the leadership team gives you a task, we expect not any kickback, as long as it's like, not like illegal or immoral, or not immoral, but like
Yeah,
morally not like
something reasonable. Yeah.
within reasonable at work. Like, hey, if we give you a towel, hey, do you mind taking the trash out? Like, I don't want to hear kickback, nothing like that. Like, just sure, man, I'll take, great. And you can just let them know, look, we hire off of these core values, and it sounds like, just from a leadership to coach you up and make you better, it
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
like you need to ask more qualifying questions in the interview to see if they're
Right.
humble. One of the best questions that we ask, or I'm sorry, go ahead. Did you have something?
No, I was just gonna say, yeah. So this is the first year I actually had like interview questions, and the first year I actually had a process of sitting down with guys and just really like going through questions, and all of them was. Last year I had about 80 candidates through Indeed. This year about 40, and interviewed about 20. Probably about 5 or 7 of them didn't show up, but it was just the fact that this was the first year that I actually sat down with guys and had like questions. But yeah, I received that. I probably just want to ask deeper questions. And he seemed very humble in the beginning, but now all that stuff is starting to show. So I don't know if he's gonna work out, but yeah, I really appreciate that wisdom and encouragement. I'm gonna just because it seems like whenever there's like a certain issue or a task, like it seems like I have to really like have a hard conversation with him man to man, and or leader, or however you want to word it, just have that conversation. And like you were saying, I guess I need to have one specifically to that. So that's really good.
Yeah, and then the thing to add to that, Angel, like if you let it go or let it slide, how I used to be, because I don't like
Right.
conflict. I do not like conflict. But the
Right.
problem is it surfaces and it gets worse.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like we need to nip this in the butt ASAP. If we don't nip it right now and pull them aside like Monday when you get back, hey man, after the
Yeah.
team meeting, I need you to sit down. I need to have a word with you. And we need to address it now. Otherwise it's only gonna get worse. And then you know
Mhm.
what? At the end of the day, the way that he responds to that on the back end as a business owner, like if he responds not good and you're like, ugh, I don't know if this guy's gonna work out, I would already be finding a replacement on the back end. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like if he's not humble enough to be like, you know what, Angel, you're right. I did give you attitude. I'm sorry. I messed up. That's somebody who's humble.
Right.
Somebody who's not humble is like, what do you mean? I didn't say it that way in that tone. It's like, dude, man, come on. Like,
Yeah.
I already can tell this is not going to probably work well. So, sure, on the back end, I'm probably finding a replacement for you. Just being honest. I can teach anybody how to mow a lawn. I can't teach somebody how to be humble and be coachable.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because where we're at now is every year it's been higher, retention rate. Guys come in, they leave for one season, that's it. And then I was learning that I don't really have anything on paper. Like we just got the employee handbook. We just kind of get that structure and say what are exactly our expectations for you, our standards, what your position detail, your job description, things like that. So I think that kind of hindered me from growing as well. 5 years, some that have been far along. Some guys say, "Wow, man, you're doing great," but like the third year, in 2022 is when I really got serious, and I think I may have went full time then, or 2023 February, and left the other job. Really like, wait a second, this could happen. This is no longer a side hustle. Like, just went out there and put business cards out, flyers, every single door, every single mailbox, every single car wiper, whatever. It's all been natural, organic growth. This year, we just signed up with Postcard Mania for 2,500 cards. I know you talked about that, like postcards before. So I'm just kind of trying it out. We're in a networking group that we pay for, not much, but like the first time really doing marketing. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, hopefully that helps us grow to get to that point. Because there's times where I get super busy. Then there's times I look at the schedule. I'm like, wait, is there even enough work to have this guy? But then as time goes on, work comes in, calls just come in. And it's like, wait a second, I do need this guy for like the bigger landscape jobs. But we're really trying to do the basic maintenance, like Mike talks about, like you talk about, just the enhancement, pine straw mulch, decorative stone here and there, and just mowing, pruning trees, hedge trimming. So it's not anything crazy, but we're just trying to grow.
Yeah. Do you guys quote based on budgeted hours?
No, I don't. I don't really have any kind of like business background. What we're doing is I'm quoting, like I just quote a flat rate, and if it's materials, I just times that by two usually, and add fuel, or if there's a dumping cost, I'll add that in there, labor and fuel to the landfill and stuff. So
What's the flat rate? Like, how do you do the flat? How do you calculate the flat rate?
So, like for mowing, we stick around a minimum of 60. We go up. Our average yard is about 75. Some properties are over 100. Bigger properties over 500. It depends. And mulching, we do a lot of bag mulch like you guys. So I just each bag is timed by two, and it's the starting point. And then the same thing with the stones, we time it by two, and then time labor. And so that's kind of then leaf cleanup in the winter, $200 minimum for just the front or the back, and then 300 for full property just starting. Not
Are you
removal.
Yeah, are you clocking in and out of every single job, tracking the time?
Yes, most of the days. Some days it kind of slips because we're busy, go go go. So that is like a weak point for me too.
Okay, yeah, what I would do is I would start off with the mowing to figure out your budget hours. It sounds like you already have that number in your mind. 60, you said, and 75, right? How long does it take? Are you running one-man teams, two-man teams? Like how long are they on the property? If it's and then what's the crew size?
Yeah, so I'm still in the field as the owner. I'm doing all the back end, the admin stuff, Monday through Thursday, working. Friday has always been my admin day, but also going to do estimates. But
Mhm.
this year I'm trying to figure it out where on Fridays I have my one guy come in, do all the maintenance, sharpen blades, and then even if it takes him 1 or 2 hours, paying for 4 hours. But Fridays has always been admin day, but also like rain makeup days. So it's just him and I on the property right now, and it usually takes like it depends. We have small, medium, large, 15 to 45 minutes. Some takes a couple hours. We have this acre. It's like 3 or 4 acres. It takes 4 hours for two guys. I'm thinking about getting rid of it, kind of farther out. It's over $400 to mow and to spray. Sometimes some days it's kind of worth it. That's kind of feeling is why I accepted it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm just trying to help you kind of like figure out like
Yeah,
budgeted
appreciate that.
hours.
Mhm.
Cause like the reality is, Angel, is if you want to triple this thing and like get to a point where you're not in the field, we have to go off of budgeted hours. We can't just go off of a price. So the data that you need is the time it takes on every single job, which it sounds like you've tracked some of it, maybe most of it. I mean, I'm sure there's
Right.
days you get busy, like you said, but we need to pull that data and put it into like an Excel spreadsheet and say, okay, lots that are from 0 to 3,000 turf, which are your small lawns, maybe roughly, take about 20 minutes for one guy or whatever. Like maybe it's 30 minutes for one guy. It doesn't matter. Like try to base it off maybe one guy or two guys if you're always running two-man teams. It doesn't matter. Okay, let's just say it's two people. It takes you 15 minutes. Well, that's 15 minutes per person. So that means the small lot should be 30 minutes. That's how much it takes. 30 minutes. Point 0.5 budgeted hours. That's what it would be. Which means you could get two done ideally in one budgeted hour if both are point 0.5, which are 30 minutes. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Once we have that data, and then you're going to do that for the mediums. It's like, all right, how many medium lawns do we have from 3,000 to 6,000? Okay, these ones take 45 minutes. Okay, anything above like, what was that, 6,000 to like 9,000 turf? That's like an hour, like one
Yeah.
full hour for one guy. If you and your worker is there, you guys are there for 30 minutes,
Hmm.
but it's 30 minutes for you and 30 minutes for your helper. That's one total budgeted hour of labor.
Yeah.
That's the data that we need in order to build a business that we can look at and be like, okay, how much work is on my schedule coming up? Because if you don't know that and you just go off of number of lawns for the day, there's pie shaped lots, there's corner lots, there's itty bitty skinny backyard lots that we just mow the backyard for. Going off of the number of properties for the routes that day is not, when you like get 5 crews, that's not going to work. Like it works fine right
Yeah.
now for you because you only have you and a helper, but we
Yeah.
have to start to build these systems in and go off of budgeted hours.
Yeah. That's good.
And I was going to say it's the same thing on the landscape jobs too. So like when you go out and you quote a bush trimming and mulch install for a front flower bed, you're going to look at it and be like, all right, this is going to be like me and my partner here, we're going to be here for an hour, putting like 10 bags of mulch in, pulling the weeds from the bushes. Okay, that's an hour for you and an hour for him. That's 2 hours of labor you need to charge the customer. And then you start to lean into, well, how much do you charge per hour for the customer? You know,
Yeah.
and that opens up a whole other can of worms because you're going to have to figure out, well, what's your break even point? how much do you need to charge to cover your wage and his wage? So you already told me you're paying him what, 17 an hour?
Yeah.
So at the bare minimum, you need to be charging triple that, which is 51 an hour. I would recommend don't go anything less than 60 an hour because you got
Okay.
fuel to pay for, you got other stuff. Realistically, you want to try to get to 4x. That's where you make money. So if you take 17 times 4, that's $68. So I would say, just from a real quick temperature check, and again, this is assuming that you don't have like this really big shop space, office people you're paying for. Like, you already told me you're doing like a little over 100K. So you probably don't have all the extra stuff. You're probably running
No,
it pretty lean.
yeah, the expenses are super low. I've really kept it really low, paid cash for everything. But we just financed a Toro 36 this year, trying to switch to all Toro instead of like the mismatched residential brand. But we had Bobcat work out. But my wife helps a lot with the admin. We use Copilot. She has a gift for that, thank God. So she helps a lot with that. That kind of leaves some of the stuff. But yeah, so last year we were in profit mode, and we raised our prices last year and the year before. We grew 20%, and so we're really doing less work for more money. So we had about just 30 mowing clients, and then we dropped down to probably about 24 because of people move, pass away, things like that. But when I look at the numbers, I'm like, man, we're doing really good, but we just don't have a lot of clients because it's premium prices. So we're not landing every single job. But I'm trying to figure out at this point, if I want to grow, do I need to lower my price or keep it the same and just market to specific niches? Does that make sense? So I'm kind of and it hurts me when I drop my price a little bit and I get a job. I'm like, man, I know that this is not normally what I price, but I've heard Mike say when you're trying to grow, sometimes that's necessary. What are your thoughts on that?
Are you tracking your close ratio on Copilot?
No, but some of the stuff I don't understand. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm not even tapping into. But
How do you send the estimates out? Do you send it through Copilot?
yeah, so we schedule it for Friday. We go out there, we take pictures, and we send it, via email through Copilot.
Okay, but you're actually creating an estimate on Copilot, right?
But yeah, we create the estimate on Copilot. The service. We have a description, everything, line item, the prices, everything. Send it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then it should track it. If you go to the KPI cockpit, it should show what your close ratio is there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know how to
Yeah.
look at it. Gotcha.
Yeah. I'll show you here. See if I can pull up my screen. I gotta be a little careful because the okay, so yeah, this will work. Okay, let me pull up my screen here for you.
I think I see now, but there's a lot of stuff that's not being tracked. But let's see.
All right, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so right here, if you go to the KPI cockpit for your location here, it'll show you your close ratio right here. So we have a 41.73%.
So mine says close ratio 50%.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's actually pretty good. So you had a 50% close ratio. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, 50% is not bad. I don't think you need to raise your prices. If you had lower your prices. I think if you had a much higher close ratio, that might be an option to lower prices. I don't. 1 out of every 2 estimates you send out is accepting. That's pretty good. So now the bottleneck is how do we get as many estimates out as possible if we know 1 out of 2 will book? That would be the thing. So my next question to you would be well, what are we doing for marketing? Do we have the first things I would ask are, do we have decals on the truck?
Yes, but one truck, the back end, it rusted out, so I can no longer pull. I have a 7x12 trailer, but I'm looking to get a ramp rack system next year. So that's sitting, and we just bought a Ford F-150 cash, and that doesn't have the decals yet. I was actually gonna ask you that so I was gonna get the paint job. I heard Mike talk about that, but where I'm at, they're saying that it might take a week, and then after that, they recommend 30 days to get a wrap on it. So I'm like, maybe I should just not do the paint job, just get 2 huge logos on each side of the door for now, and just kind of roll like that until later when I can do what I need to do.
Yeah, it depends on your marketing budget. If you're on a tight budget, that works. We did that for 4 years. We just put the decals on the side of the logo as big as possible, the name and the phone number. That's it. Whatever color the truck was. Now, granted, we always just ordered white ones, but I literally had another buddy and I told him the same thing. He bought like a maroon truck. I was like, dude, just put the logos on it. Like, it's fine. It's temporary. It'll only be for like 2 or 3 years until you can buy the wrap, because the wraps are expensive. You know, to do a full paint job
Yeah,
and then a
they
full
are.
wrap, it's a lot of money. And so in the beginning, you don't have a lot of money. You got to get kind of scrappy with it. And
Yeah.
so it's like a third of the price or a quarter of the price just to put at least the logos on. We at least can do that so we can get our name out there, get customers calling from our truck.
Yeah, because the other truck that's sitting right now, it has the logo on each side of the door, and kind of like how Mike's trucks are on the bed. It's like mowing, cleanups, stone, pine straw, mulch, and then on the back it has the QR code, with the number and the logo. So that worked out very well. I just need to do something like kind of quick because I don't have that's the one truck we're running, so I don't have time to like have that getting wrapped or whatever. So I need to the paint job and everything. I just gotta get something quick so we can get back working.
Yeah. And normally when we do all this stuff is like in the non-busy season.
Right. In the
So
winter.
not down. Yeah, typically like February is when we're doing all this stuff. And then that way by March 1st, like we're good to go. Like it's go time. Like we got these should be on the off season tasks. So that way it's not pulling you out of production during the busy season.
Right. And it was February was kind of busy for us. I schedule a lot of like year-round maintenance right there. And then that's when I was interviewing the guy and kind of hired him and stuff. So I see what you're saying. I need to really get that situated.
Cool. What else you got? What other questions?
What are the benefits of the ramp rack system for you? Like, how has it helped you guys?
Yeah, good question. So we just ordered 2 ramp rack systems this year. So we're still using them. We've only been using them for like a month. They've been great. We like them. I think they're very durable. They're universal. So we've retired 2 trucks now over the course of 5 years. What's nice is every truck, when you buy a new one, is going to be like years difference with the model and stuff. Now, obviously, we try to buy the same make and model. That way we're running all the same stuff. It's simple, scalable. But the reality of it is like the tailgate might be a little bit different. The bed of the truck might be a little bit different. There's always something different. So what's nice about the ramp rack, it is more money than what you would pay for a welder, because we literally have paid a
Right.
custom welder. What's nice about it is it's customizable to every truck. So when you retire a truck, you can pull that ramp rack off, adjust the sizes, and put it right back on a new one. And you don't have to worry about like bringing it to the welder and having them fabricate something because it's not fitting right. Like it'll fit right on almost, I think, every truck.
Yeah.
That's
So,
the good thing for sure.
so what do you guys do? So sometimes we'll get calls for like just removing just brush, debris, big pile of tree limbs that the homeowner cut down or whatever, or even when we do light pruning, trees, nothing too crazy. Like, have you guys ran into problems where you can't, fit all this stuff in the truck bed, or do you guys just don't do services like that?
So we don't really do services like that. We will maybe in like the winter. That's it. The other
Right.
9-10 months out of the year, we literally strictly to mowing, weed control, flower bed cleanups. That's it. When you're your size and you got to get scrappy, and because you got to feed you and your wife and like that team member that's
Right.
with you, dude, I would be definitely doing these kinds of jobs, and
Yeah.
just bake in the price that if you have to take 2 trips, you got to take 2 trips. Then that calculate the labor. Okay. We just figured out what your labor is. If you're charging 17 an hour, you should be charging at least $70 an hour. It came out to be 68, but that extra $2 is going to pay your fuel. Trust me, you're going to want it.
Okay.
So $70 an hour. So when you go out and somebody sends you a video or you go get eyes on, okay, there's this really big pile. You're like, okay, this is going to take me 2 trips. I'm not going to fit it all in one. Then you need to calculate, all right, well, are you sending 1 man out or 2 man? Because that matters. But by the time you load up the truck, that's maybe like 30 minutes to load it. And then you got to drive to the dump or wherever you're dumping. That might be another 30 minutes to the dump, 30 minutes back. So that's already an hour and a half. So it's basically an hour and a half per load. So for one dude. So you got to take 2
Yeah.
loads. So that's 3 hours.
Right.
plus any dumping fee. Right off the bat, if you were gonna haul that off, $70 times 3, that's $210 plus your disposal fee, which at our
Yeah.
landfill they charge us $25 to dump. So then you got to bake in that, and even if you baked it in with no upcharge, that's $260. I would round up to $300 and be like, hey, $299. That's what it'll cost. It's going to take us a couple trips, but then efficiency comes into it too. Like, because you're probably with your helper, your employee. Do you really need 2 guys sitting in the truck driving to the dump? Because
No.
they're not doing nothing. So like
Right.
those dump runs kill your efficiency labor, because it's like you guys are doing more driving than working. It's
Yeah.
like it's not so like for that job, I would almost say, hey, schedule that at the end of the day, send your helper home, and then you take care of it yourself.
Yeah, a lot of times I do that. Even yesterday, there was 2 small, so I just had him off. It was trimming pampas grass. If you know, I don't know if you have that in your area, but trim that, and the trailer was full. Packed that down, and then went and like removed this pile of leaves, and then like right now the trailer is full. So after this, I'm gonna go to the landfill and dump that, and that's gonna help out a lot because I'm not paying the guy because from our storage unit to the landfill is 40 minutes there and back, so I don't need to be paying the guy. Yeah, so
Exactly,
that's good.
exactly. Yep, that's smart. So you're the one right now doing those dump runs. That it just,
Yeah,
just financially makes more sense.
yeah. So I have another question for you. How detailed do you get when it comes to like tracking expenses? Like exactly how much to cycle oil, exactly how much string, how are you guys doing that?
So we have a bookkeeper. I used to track it in the beginning, so I have a pretty good pulse on like how much that stuff costs. Roughly like 2.5 to 3% is a year is what we spend on like fuel and stuff like that. Like I have a really good pulse on that, but I just have our bookkeeper track it. And as far as like budgeting and stuff, I mean, we just kind of bulk buy for the year, like in
Mm,
February, because
mhm.
the last thing I want to do in the spring rush when we're super busy and the phone's ringing off the hook and everybody needs new mulch and their lawn's getting overgrown is worry about going to pick up trimmer line at the store.
Exactly, yeah.
And we used to in the beginning when we didn't have a lot of money, but now
Right.
that we are actually making a little bit of money, it's like, okay, we need to drop 10 or 15K in all the supplies we're going to need this year. I'm talking like sprinkler heads, because when you break them, we got to replace them. The tips for them, weed eater springs, like bumpers for them, trimmer line, oil. Like we bulk buy all of that. We put it in the shop, and then yeah, when we need it, it's right there. We don't have to, because here's the reality of it also. Labor is the number one expense on a P&L.
Yeah,
Labor. So that guy that you're paying 17, 18, 19 an hour, he's going to cost you way more. And so the last thing I want to do is send him to Home Depot to go get sprinkler heads, or
exactly,
even the
yeah.
Lowe's to pick up mulch. Like, can we
Right.
bulk order pallets of mulch? We already know it's going to be busy this spring. Can we
Mhm.
get a whole pallet of black mulch delivered to our storage unit or our house and put it in our garage? So that way I don't have to pay him 25 minutes, 20 minutes to go pick up mulch every time there's a mulch job. Like that's the kind of stuff that will really save you money. So that way you can really focus on like getting jobs done. And also, if you're small and you don't have a lot of jobs Monday through Friday, it allows you the time to go get jobs, i.e. door
Exactly,
hangers.
yeah.
Like if we don't, like 5 days a week, if I don't have enough work for me and a helper, guess what? Come Thursday and Friday when there is no work, we're both doing door hangers to get jobs on Thursday and Friday moving forward.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I started doing that last year, buying the big box of 2 cycle and buying the 5 pound spool of weed eater string. And we have QuickBooks that kind of tracks that, but like each traction or each transaction that comes through, it tracks. You got to categorize it and label it. So I'm like, okay, this was weed eater string, this was 2 cycle, and or this was stick edger blades or whatever. Like I'm gonna start just because I guess, yeah, I don't have a bookkeeper. I'm just using QuickBooks. I have a tax professional. They do all my taxes and everything. We just send everything to them, and they're hooked on QuickBooks. Is that still good for where I'm at? I guess when I grow, I probably need to get where you're at, bookkeeper, things like that.
No, I think you're right where you need to be. So what I would do, Angel, so you can either have your CPA or bookkeeper, which you don't, whoever your tax accountant is, they
Right.
can go into QuickBooks and set up, it's called the chart of accounts for your business. So what does that mean? Or you could go on ChatGPT and just be like, give me a chart of accounts for a lawn care business. What a chart of accounts are categorized like categories for the business. So it's like, for example, repair and maintenance, payroll, utilities, supplies, like all of the stuff, like chart of accounts that the IRS wants to see categorized, right? Once you have that, you don't really need a bookkeeper to do this. You can do this yourself. Go in either once a week, once a month, look at all the transactions, and then categorize it to the correct category. And yeah, you can do that. That's super easy. I think that's super smart for you to do.
Yeah, awesome. Wow, man, this has been great. I really appreciate that. I kind of heard about you recently, but man, just a plethora of wisdom on there, and kind of where I want to go, the same mindset where I'm watching your guys' videos. So I just appreciate you. You mentioned recently in the video that you're gonna start like recording your journey, and so I really appreciate that. It's helped me grow and really just dial down a lot of things. Is there any more questions you have for me that can kind of help me think through some things, or am I pretty good where I'm at, you think?
Yeah, let me and I appreciate you coming on. You have really good questions, and I think this is going to help a lot of people. The one question that I would ask you, so you're doing a little over 100,000, you probably want to double, triple in the next maybe year or two, right? Like, and really get into that manager role, right?
Right.
So I'd ask you right now as we go into the spring rush and it starts to pick up and get busy. In your 8-hour workday, maybe you work 10, 8 hours, doesn't matter. How many hours a day are you spending on sales and acquiring new customers?
Probably not maybe like very low number, like 20 minutes a day or something. Like on the evening with my wife, I might put like a post on Facebook or something here and there, because now I get tons of calls from Facebook, but also tons of calls from Google. So I haven't never really had to like go out there, except for the first couple of years. But now we're still getting calls, but not as much. So we're doing that postcard things, and then when I do estimates, I try to give like a door hanger to the neighbors like next door to the one I'm estimating, but also the one across the street. So that I kind of do in between when I can. So it's not a lot of time, I guess.
Okay, so all of that's included. You can include that in your time. You doing
Okay,
door
so
hangers,
yeah.
you talking to a customer over the phone and giving an estimate. That's all sales. That's all doing actions to acquire new customers. You doing
Okay,
a
gotcha.
Facebook post. So again, out of your maybe last week, let's take last week, for example. You worked for 40 hours, I'm assuming, right? 40-hour work week, right? Most people Monday
Yeah.
through Friday. Out of those 40 hours, give me a rough estimate on what you feel. How much time did you spend? How many hours did we spend selling or trying to acquire a new customer?
Yeah, with all of it, probably like, man, 20 hours at least, almost like every second trying to do what I can, a post or talking to people, passing out cards, like where I go, just always trying to, get my name out there.
Okay. Yeah, 20 hours is good. That's what I was going to say. That's the benchmark. If we can get to where you are spending at least 50% of your time on sales, on
Right.
estimates, on door hangers, on putting yard signs out, on putting a post on Facebook, picture with you on the truck and introducing yourself. Hey, I'm Angel. I'm starting my lawn care business. Feel free to reach out. On building a Google ad, Facebook ad, something to get more customers, working with the US Postal Service to build an EDDM route. Like that's all part of selling. Maybe sitting down, sending out an upsell email to all of your customers. You got leads in your database on Copilot. Let's blast out an email to all of them on Monday. Hey, spring mulch, we're offering $20 off. Get your first 5 bags of mulch free. I don't know. Let's run a promotion or something. This is all the sales process, right?
Yeah.
While you're on the properties, if you don't have personal upsells yet on Copilot, 1,100% recommend it. That is a feature that you must, like literally, if you don't have that on there, that's your homework in the next 48 hours to watch a video or two on Copilot on how to turn the personal upsell recommendation thing on there to where when you're clocked into a job and you're mowing, because you will have to still mow. You and your helper are going to have to go out and mow. You can click the briefcase, literally send the customer a text and make it personal. Hey, it's Angel. we were on your property today to service your lawn. We noticed you need mulch. If you would like a quick quote for mulch, respond back with yes, we can get you an estimate for mulch. Instead of doing a mass email where it's like, hey, we're running a promotion, it's like, no, I was on your property today and I noticed you need mulch. That is my personal recommendation to you. Or I noticed you needed the bushes trimmed. Those ones convert way higher, dude, way higher than a mass email or text. So that's the stuff. I would say that's the biggest thing. So it sounds like you're already doing that. Keep it up. How can we get it to like 60% of your time or 70% of your time? The more time that you spend doing sales, do not let it go below 50%. Out of a 40-hour workday, we are required to get to the goals that we want. You are required to do more than 20 hours of sales. And if that means, oh snap, we just got 10 or 15 more mowing customers. And then that means, hey, to hit my 20 hours for the week, I got to work a Saturday and post some things. Then we got to do that. Like what you do right now over the next 6 weeks in the spring rush will dictate what you do annually for the year. That will dictate whether you do 200,000 a year this year or 300,000 this year. That the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, wow, that's really good. Yeah, I was only doing that like in the winter time and advertising to all of my mowing clients, and then it was almost 100% like for different things. And we're starting to build like our leaf cleanup around the winter stuff like that. But I didn't think about doing that, now. So that's a good thing for sure.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, in the wintertime, the likelihood of them responding or needing services dramatically decreases. It's like the demand in the winter is just not that great. It's just not.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Like in the spring and summer, like when things like there's literally a need, like people need their bushes trimmed and like stuff. Like honestly, the best day to send out that mass text is the day that you're getting slammed with phone calls, because that's when the demand is the highest. It's like, oh, this is the day. Like I'm working 10 hours today because the phone keeps ringing off the hook. That's a very good sign that today's a day we should send out a mass email, because the amount of return you will get on that is significantly higher.
Yeah, for sure. That's good.
And most people turn their leads off because they're too busy in the spring. But that's where you capitalize and you get the best return.
Do we still have time for questions, or no? You good?
Yeah, I've got like maybe 2 minutes. I've got like maybe 2 minutes. If you got one last question, I can knock it out real quick.
2 minutes. So what does your like routing process look like, and how does your employees have access to that? Like, is that benefit? I'm sure like where you're at now, but how do I get to that point, I guess?
So we have the general managers dispatch every day. They basically route it for the crews, and then the crews in the mornings, they'll pull up their kind of Copilot app and they'll be able to see their route. So that's kind of like how our process is.
Yeah, just the
I don't know. Yeah. I'm not sure if that answers your question, but like I'm assuming using Copilot, you're clocking in and out of each job, you're dispatching, I'm sure, right? And like routing it in a way, in an efficient way.
So no, I wish. So right now we're using this free app called Time Tree. My wife and I have access to that in real time, and a lot of times she'll put like all the reoccurring clients in there for me, and then I'll go in there and I'll rearrange it and input jobs as an estimate and get them. I just need to sit down and just look through Copilot University, to be honest, and figure out like how do I do that. We tried it, but it just seemed like it wasn't smooth for us, so we kind of put it on the back burner for now. So I think that's kind of like been a hindrance as well. So we're not scheduling estimates. It's just kind of like the wording is confusing for us, like a meeting or however it's worded, like it's so.
Yeah. So okay, so for that, so for estimates, you'll want to create a meeting.
Okay.
So you'll create a meeting. I mean, that's pretty simple. So we always title them drive-bys. And then I think the category, we created a estimate category per se. And then again, you would just change the category to it being an estimate. And then we color code our estimates. So our color is purple. So when we look at it on the schedule, we just know like, oh, all the purple is like selling and estimates. And then, yeah, you just assign it to whatever employee is, probably you. If you're the estimator, you're going to just assign it to you. And then, yeah, and then you just select whatever day that you want it on and should be good. And then that should pop up on the dispatch board and the schedule and the field crew. So when they clock in, they can see the meetings, and then they can actually go to the address and clock in when they're there, do the estimate, and then clock out.
Hey man, this has been awesome. I know you got to go, so I just really appreciate that. It's been great, man.
Absolutely, Angel. I appreciate you jumping on. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.